Hi guys, how is it going? I need to stay with you, right? Hi everybody, happy 1 year. Wow, you guys, I'm here earlier than this, so so I want to share. My group. They're going to Kiev. Hi, how's it going? I can't even hear you right. Stop my by me. I want to play some music, but I'm scared of them blocking my live. So I haven't decided to. Welcome everybody. Welcome to Let's Talk with Steve and Miss Alicia. I am the host today. And see my speakers. Hi. Hello. Uh, you're welcome. You're gonna talk. You're gonna be a Let's Talk about this. Today is the 29th of September, and today Mark. I know, so cheers. Let's drink. This is apple cider, you guys. So nobody should come to me and be like, this girl was drinking on. No, this is apple cider. But it's too nice. Cheers to good life. Cheers to more excitement. Cheers to more topics together. Cheers, cheers, cheers. I'm excited to be here. Everybody has been up to me to say to so so let's see what our friends are doing. Guys, today was not really a bad day for the time I got so thanks. So thanks. Even though it's my nose, I'm getting the sniffs. So, how's your Sunday going? What's up? What's up? What's up? Tell your cousins, tell your friends, tell your brothers, tell your sisters. Tell everybody this week is alive and we're here celebrating. Today, I don't know what's the song they has been on my mind all day. So, I really forgot to follow this. I've been trying to post some since I monetized my Instagram. I've been trying to post videos with music, and I haven't done it. It's the topic. But um, all right, I'm back. You guys, I'm quiet here, but I'm trying to share the show really quickly, and then also with the share the show for the banner out. Okay, we got a topic, and now um, let me try to get it. Hope this works, so you can get everybody here. Happy here to us. We didn't plan this without each and every one of you guys. I just want to say thank you for all your support, all that you guys have done, encouraging the words, words, and stars, sharing the show, and just checking in with us. It's really good. And just want to say thank you to all of you for all of what you're doing to get us this far. We do have a lot to do, but we're super grateful. I know when the show started, first I was very, but I think we do better each. So the goal is going forward to actually grow. You know what we do. Somebody's watching, that's all watching. I want your we just started one. You know, the expectation that everyone knows to be walking. So we the expectation that was for those such as to contribute to their also, I want to say a big thank you to our focus for such a good support. I would say that we trust what vision. So students, special um, thanks to name all of them. We have Janice, we have Joanna, we have Lawrence, we have this is a bunch of super super fun something for us. Um, we're gonna see if we can teach us on fighting again. A very special thanks to leaders always doing just to us. I want to say thank you for that. Just over the years, share our show, say super thank you to super thank you to um, I cannot forget our recess for thank you so much for all your support. You have definitely when the show first started. If I'm being honest, I really thought we would just criticize it's all the very first few episodes. But we actually anything, but then we really watch us and really dive to what the vision is for this podcast. Which is the thing that I still want to say thank you to this which is what are what are you still still and as always, Lucia have like shared with them. He is definitely one of the biggest contributors to that. Not just music, but all the stuff that so even so, especially since Lucia, just want to say so much for sharing the show, setting stars, because of you, just like you, definitely stars. So just want to say, want to say a super thank you to all of you guys, friends, family, support, you know, all of those things. So, to those we really want to wrap what we were but then we did we then started just just doing like educational shows and we come to the part of how much so I just want to say thank you for opening this show. It's just giving my gratitude to each and every we have student contributed to us seeing also just definitely strong. So I just want to say thank you to us to start long to took our first step was to just share what the vision is for this podcast and what their expectations how to work so we have that continue to have each other to encourage each other, learn from each other, be positive. So I just want to say tonight's topic is a little too adult for times. So please to jump into it. Just super excited that I'm here. Just want to say thank you to her for seeing something so because it would help me and that we could sit to talk to her. And sometimes that uses other people to see the truth of her. So it's a easier so thank you guys. Welcome to Let's Talk with Speed. I brought my apple cider. Let's cheer, cheer, cheers. Oh, hi. So I just joked into this. It's like, yeah, mm, it's like, it's gonna be a very so happy, happy, subject. So today's topic talks about it's asking this is should sex education is pleasure and intimacy or strictly reproduction? Let's see. So I think this topic can kind of get off tangent, so that's why I gave it to Skinner. For just I want my kids to learn about this. There's something wrong with and then to that's actually I'm going to share the show and I will listen. So something about to me. You should be as life true. Because back then we haven't talked about something amazing that we do for us, but we do for someone. What is something amazing for someone and someone to us? Well, this week, what can I do amazing? What can I do anything to even the show? I just don't want to be I know, I know. So it has been a really bad weather this week, and I was going, I was getting out of my car and trying to go into our building, our work, and it started pouring. It was raining. That's nice. And excuse me. And I couldn't get out of the car, but I needed to get to work. I mean, I was right at work, but I couldn't get because I had forgotten. So then there was this lady. She had, she was just parked and was about. I don't think she saw me, but she was about to go. Something kind of like blew my nose, but she was, and then I was staring through the window, and she was like, "Do you are you trying to go in?" I said, "Yes." And when she let me walk under the umbrella, um, it ran for a little while, like really hard. So if she had me, I wouldn't have made it touch my whole list of so, so because sometimes that's those little things that people really don't pay attention to. And Christian seems so little, but it's still so, so it's, I want to play some music, but I'm a little bit scared that my life is especially with this. So tell you guys something. I don't understand why Christian music is not. I said, I really, you guys, I don't think Christian music should be copyright because it sounds really not copyright. What kind of good points to copyright? I can't say, but I'm like, it's Christian music. You're supposed to be mainstream, but then you're making it copyright. What other people do that? Plus, do you guys think the same thing? No, I don't know. Copyright? I don't think Christian music should be copyright. So, you guys are just sharing the show, so I can just talk more because I'm so let me tell you guys, the current music that's stuck in my head. You know that song? Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. I love that song so much. I literally was singing that song. Yeah, I also but yeah, but I like that. But I would the forest so this one I see how this one and I have those that are nice so where has it placed this is all this is what this is so that Hello. Oh my. I'm getting done. What happened? Where did you go? Yes, you're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. I need celebration for you.
You are not sounding too clear, man. Fee.
I'm not going
Yeah, you're not sounding too clear to me.
to. Can you hear me? Hello? Hello?
Hello, you getting me?
Yeah, how do I sound now?
Oh, well, it's not bad.
Okay. Welcome, welcome. Why you hiding your face again?
Eh?
Why you hiding? Me see your face.
No, I'm. See, I'm already on.
You sleeping?
Uh,
The weather actually is the sleeping weather.
yeah.
You say, yeah. But you in the dark these days. So.
Don't bring politics here, man.
Again, outside again.
Don't bring politics. I'm between two things. I'm on the show. I'm in a meeting at the same time. So
Oh,
no, but I'm muted the other side. If I were to speak, I will mute this side and talk on the other side. but I'm using my earpiece for the meeting.
All right. What are the rest of the people in? Hey,
And
where?
I get
Yeah,
another meeting 1 hour from now.
I know. I don't want us to stay too long. Actually, I have to get ready for the week. Let me see if Anna is on. She's not. I was just listening to my rich man music.
We're in a Richmond Frazzle.
No, I let us know, man. He said, he said, hey there, bro. They must come for me because the way they sweating people say, hold on. They must come for me, yeah. I get ready through the way. Hi, River Pro. Welcome to the show. Welcome, you guys. It is Sunday. Today marks a year and we started this whole journey where everything has changed. What is it? What's up with all those meetings in Canada? What did he play? He played the takeover like girl. Hi Anna, welcome to the show.
Hi.
You guys miss it. I just had a whole party.
Oh yeah.
I had a whole party. River Pro is giving you a question, sir. You planning to take over yourself like that?
I reserve comment. I will not make comment on that thing.
River they don't want to talk politics on you. I think.
I reserve comment.
Welcome, welcome. Let's try to jump into it real quick. I started early. Just want to say, you guys probably missed it, but I was just shouting out each and every one of you guys, saying thank you so much for always taking time out of your busy schedule to come on here, so we can share ideas and learn from each other. I'm super super grateful. I honestly don't believe that the show would have even gone this far without each and every one of you contribution to it. So I just want to say thank you so much. And thank you to our audience for always being here supporting us. Even though we haven't reached the milestone that we had anticipated, but I think we've reached many people, and I'm super grateful for all the feedbacks that people send me every now and then about the show and topics that we bring on here. So I'm super grateful. Thank you guys. Thank you for all your time, and thank you for your continuous support. And with that being said, do you guys have anything you want to share to your fan or audience or anybody? Do you guys want to say within a year what you think of the show and things like that before we jump to the topic real quick?
I would like to say congrats to you for the show and the anniversary, and I thank you for the inspiration and bringing some really insightful topics that we've each learned from. And can you be quiet, please? And just to thank the viewers and for those that are listening to the podcast. And thanks to Riva Says Pro as well, and as well as all the other panelists, Andrew, Jimmy, and Mr. Walker. Is it Peterson? Peterson? Yeah, so I want to thank you guys for your continuous support. Thank you, Miss Fee, for always hosting and always bringing such positive energy. So I learned a lot, and even though I have like a busy schedule, I always look forward to, joining and participating. So thank you.
Thank you so much for that. Definitely appreciate you. I know you are a super, super private person, and having you on this show definitely made me realize that wow, we're just positive. So I'm definitely grateful for you on And Riva says, Pro said, happy anniversary with more success. Thank you, Riva says, Bro. You have been a tremendous contributor to this show, and I'm so grateful for that. And happy anniversary to all of us. You know, we all did it and we all made it here that far. So I'm super grateful and hopeful that we can continue as long as God permit us, right? All right. Andrew, you have anything? Hello. Andrew busy right now. All right, guys, let's jump into it. So the topic tonight says, should sex education address pleasure and intimacy or strictly reproduction and safety? Huh. This one is a little this one is a little, you know. So when I was looking at the topics, to be really honest, I don't think I pay too much attention because I know they start teaching sex education in briefly in middle school and then in high school you learn more about that. When I was in school in Florida, if I'm not mistaken, it's been a while. But in high school. But I think when we were learning about that, I'm not sure how things are now. When we were learning about that, there was a letter sent to your parents, and they can choose to and to allow you to sit in a class or not.
Here we go, you doing. Here's your toy, man.
I was definitely one of those students that did not really partake into it. And of course, go figure, I'm an African girl, right? But sex education, I didn't really learn, I didn't attend that class actually in high school or in middle school, but I did learn in my freshman year in college. That's when I started learning about the reproductive system in depth. And, even though I take that back. In high school, around like my junior year, we talked about the reproductive system, but we didn't really talk about like um, the sex education part. I didn't sit in that part of it, but I sit in like the reproductive system and things like that in biology, you anatomy, physiology. But I didn't learn much. I learned it in depth when I was in like my freshman year in college. That's when I really started to understand the body parts and how that worked. And then I really started understanding about, sex education in college, like my freshman year. With that being said, in my opinion, I think being that the generation that we're in now, I don't think parents should wait to have someone else teach their children about sex education. I think it should both intimacy. I think it should be taught, but not in school. If you ask me, I think sex education is part should not be should not be taught in school. I think that should be parents' responsibility. I also think that the reproductive system itself, what it does, it should be taught during during science classes, but not like a special class like they have now as sex education. I just think it would be better um, for me, I think it would be better if a family member like your mom can sit you down and teach you about that and then tell you about what each body parts mean and what, especially when it's girls, mom teach them, dad can teach the boys. But I really do feel like there shouldn't be such a class set aside in school for that because of everything that's going on in society. I feel like a lot of people are missing the mark, and the way somebody else teach your child might drive them into the wrong. into the wrong concept. So that's why I think the sex education part of it about intimacy and all of that, that should be taught by a family member like your mom, or if you live with your aunt should talk to you about that at a very because I think most young ladies start to see their flower at like eight, between 8 and 9. So if your mom can actually sit you down and walk you through the process, telling you about, your flower and all of that, and then how it all ties together, to me that would be much more educational than you just strictly. I think it's inappropriate for a sex educational um, teacher to talk about, intimacy and pleasure, in my opinion. So I'll stop right there for now, and let me hear what you guys think. Can you guys hear me though?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. That
Um,
gave my input for the intro. Um, I don't know what you guys thought are on that.
I mean, you didn't turn out bad for someone that did not learn about that topic early.
I hope so.
But actually, I am one of those. I would say I'm like a typical African, like even watching TV with my parents, if there were explicit scenes, I would try to cover my face or turn around or walk around as if I didn't see it. But um as a parent now, I think when you expose children to certain topics, it if you're not lucky, the child wants to experiment. But I think that it's better to always opt in for those type of lessons. But the bad thing is that there's a pro and a con to it, in the sense that you can't control how much or how explicit the child is taught in school, but you as a parent can control how much you share with the child. Like I remember my grandma telling me that even touching or going close to a man would get me,
Pregnant.
yeah, I don't want to say the words, but because my daughter is here, but
Right.
you know those types of things scared me. Like I wouldn't do anything. I expected the possible worst, but in school they would give the advantages of the act and then tell you the bad things about it. Now it's up to the child to make their decision, right?
Right.
But they will not say it's pros and cons, but they will basically tell you the process and everything. And children nowadays, the internet has made it so convenient, where children can watch those things on their YouTube and things, you know, even the process of childbearing. Those things are things that we never really used to see back then, but the internet now has made things so common that anyone can just watch any type of video on social media nowadays. So I still think that the YouTubers, the people that have own YouTube and Facebook, have helped in spoiling the kids, because they're exposed to things um that are too that are not age appropriate,
Right.
because they are not really censoring things that are being posted online these days. Even when you make a profile for a child on YouTube, and you say the child is this amount of this, maybe like 5 years old or 4 years old or 3 years old, there's still some of the videos that the content that come to that child's computer that are inappropriate, that have curse words, that
Yeah.
have those explicit things, that including the education thing that we're talking about, the sex education, that are not appropriate for children like that. So I just feel like the internet has a lot to play when it comes to those things, and the content of the content of those types of things, I would prefer my child to hear it from me and school rather than watch it from YouTube or social media. And social media is everywhere. You can't even hide it. You can't even watch a video without any explicit things on it nowadays. Mm,
But
that's my take on it.
thank you. It's really sad and kind of like nerve wracking because it's crazy. My son was watching because they have the kids YouTube and they know how to find their way on there. And he was watching something, and I kept hearing something about if you want to jump off the bridge, and I'm like, what? So I went to go look at it. It's actually a cartoon, and I'm like, why would you? Why would you be? Why would people make a cartoon that is telling someone if you don't want to be here, you want to jump off the bridge and jump off? Like what? That was
Yeah,
so
that's how they start teaching kids suicide stuff. Like it's
that was so disturbing. Like I've
yeah.
literally blocked everything. My son, he, I have parental control on everything. So whatever they click on, even on kids' YouTube, like I literally have to approve. That's so scary. Like
Yeah.
what? So like I don't know. I honestly don't think um sex education and intimacy if that stuff should not be taught. Like how they class specifically saying you know sex education. I don't think the school should make that curriculum. I honestly don't. Unless when
You're
you're
you're breaking up.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. For some reason, you're breaking up.
Yeah, I was I can't hear you. Is it possible for you to maybe try to get out and get back in?
If she get up, maybe the whole program will cancel.
Oh, okay.
I think so.
And I was going to also add that in the school system, at least your child may be uncomfortable asking you as a parent certain questions about it, but in the school the teachers have a way to explain it where it's not explicit. You know what I mean? So I'll rather than my child watching it on social media, I'll prefer them to either hear it from me or a teacher.
Yeah, and yeah. Let me. I want to. Hey, in fact, let me get introduced by the guest, by the boss lady first before I even because I got a question for Anna. I will be on shortly, my people. I gotta go somewhere else, but yeah.
no, go ahead, go ahead. Can you hear?
Yeah, so yeah, Anna, I made a comment about getting condom. I think during the political period, I remember it was a big deal. Schools trying to issue a condom. There were a lot of because some like for me, I ain't gonna lie. My children goes to like church school. They go to. Yeah, I mean, I tried that in public school before, and especially my oldest son, things did not really go. So we kind of changed a little bit and send to like a church school, and his character things change. So I'm a Christian. I believe in parent choice. Yeah, I'm not trying to demean the public school. They are great. A lot of people who graduated from there, but I usually, my children go to the school. We are part of the church, so we got benefits, and the children go to church school, and that, I mean, that's a great. I mean, it has helped their faith and other things. So with that said, there was this controversy about the public school giving out condoms to children. And Anna, I know you said, oh, you rather have it in school, but then I got a problem with. I would rather have like a mother teach your child. Because the public school, Anna, those people are making girls and boys to use the same. The transgender is getting terrible. I took my daughter to the college campus and I gave her a look. Let me say, yeah, right now, I took my daughter to a college campus. There's this guy who identified as a girl. He's right next door. Imagine that, Anna. So by you saying, I mean, look, the public schools now, only God know what they're teaching those children right now. So if you just leaving it up to your children, I mean, leaving them like that and say, oh, they will show them the best education, I think that's a risk too. Like they were giving content, and most parents like, no, 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 you can't. You're giving a 14-year-old child a condom. Why? I mean, why are you telling them? You know what I'm saying? It's not, yeah, we understand they're trying to prevent unwanted pregnancy, STDs, and all those things. But I think sometimes yeah, they go beyond with this sex education thing. So I would be very skeptical if my child were in one of those public school, just trying to give them all, think that they will get the best education from there. I mean, by the time you don't even know what they're learning at, Anna, next thing you know, they're telling your child that. I mean, I know it's a whole different thing, but I just want to throw in. They tell your child that you can. I mean, you can make it. They're telling your girl child, well, you can become a boy if you want to. It seems that all those things, Anna, they are promoting a lot of things in the schools right now. So I wouldn't advise it. I mean, I wouldn't. Yes, I mean, if they do teach it, that great. But seriously, I wouldn't really trust those schools to educate my children as far as sex is concerned. That's just my own.
Thank you
So
so
can I interject? Thank you, Reverse Espo, for those beautiful comments. Actually, if you heard what I was trying to say earlier, I was saying I prefer to do it myself. Okay. But in public schools, if you want to look at Miss Feast, our age group moving up, right? The older generation, those things were taught in school because our parents were traditional, like they didn't believe in talking about those things with kids, right? And when we learned it in school, the curriculum has changed drastically since we were kids. Things that are allowed now, even social media. Back then, we didn't used to have computers or smartphones.
True,
Now the kids have it. So again, the level of exposure that the internet and social media has caused, our kids can never be like us.
true.
Okay, and that's what I was trying to say. And that even though the school system would teach our kids things and all these transgender type stuff, I believe that parents have a big part to play. Okay.
Okay.
And if your child goes to school and starts learning about, they have peers around them all the time. You don't know where each child is coming from. Growing up, I know there was a child in my class who had two moms. I still never understood that until recently when I'm learning more about the LGBTQ community, right?
Yeah.
But does that mean I would want my kids to be part of the LGBTQ? No, but I have to support whatever other people's choice are, right? If it's not about my kids, I would be okay with someone else doing it because hey, that's what society is accepting. Now, it does that mean if my children went to school and came back and said they were LGBTQ, I would accept it? No. To be honest, I would probably be one of those moms that would, take them to Africa, something. I don't know, but I'm just saying, like, as long as your child is not affected, all you can do is try to make a positive change. You cannot control what other people do, but start from, they say, to raise a child starts from the home, right?
Yeah.
Can teach your children what is right, what is wrong. When they go to school and they're around their peers, you will notice that that foundation from their home, when they go to school, they will not behave like their friends, regardless of how bad the peer pressure is. They would, if the worst comes to the worst, they will they will have some level of influence, which in this case, like your son,
Yeah.
but at least when you guys notice that, you try to adjust it. So the truth is, it's not about the public school system. It's about the type of people that they hang around.
Okay.
One, two. I know that there's a level of, there's not as the school system is not as regulated as it used to be when we are growing up.
Yeah. True.
That's another thing. And back then we didn't have all the smartphones, the internet access like we did. I remember we had the flip phones. Before you even type a whole paragraph, you push so many
So
buttons.
you
Now
get tired.
children even close their eyes and they're typing on a computer or on a phone, and before you know, they've had a whole paragraph.
Yeah,
and
that's true.
and and I'm just saying this to say, we can't really blame it on the school system. We just have to remember that even if your children went to a public school or a a private school like they're going now, they
Yeah.
will learn some positive things there, and there'll also be certain things there that
True.
are bad.
True.
So all I'm saying is that, we can't really blame the school system, but charity, charity starts from home. So i- a lot of the children that are coming to corrupt our kids are from families that maybe were not, they didn't really pay attention to their children's upbringing.
True. That's true.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say.
Okay.
But
Okay. Okay.
I think I'll prefer to be the one to teach my children about that type of education. But I would also want them to be able to have it in school, because it'll give them the opportunity to ask questions from their teacher. And
Okay.
of course, when I get a permission slip asking me, or consent form asking me, can we teach your child this? I would say yes. So when the child comes home, I'm going to ask them, what did you guys learn today?
Okay.
Try to foster a conversation
Yeah.
where the child will feel comfortable telling me. And through that conversation, I can know if the what was not appropriate, or what was said that I think I need to clarify. And then, if it's something that was not appropriate, I'll definitely bring it up to the principal that this needs to stop. These are not conversations that children should be having or with their teachers.
Okay.
But I definitely think that there are some questions that children should know about from others, that, like, especially a responsible adults, that
Yeah.
they may not feel comfortable asking from their parents. I'll use myself as an example. My parents talked to me about periods when I was growing up,
Mm,
but trust me, they were not explicit enough. I had to, when doing this education that we're talking about in school, the teacher talked about periods and puberty and all the like. It's not just the sex conversation that comes up. They talk about puberty, they talk about the changes of your body,
mhm.
right? And within that time, I was able to ask follow-up questions, and then also hearing other things that little other girls in my class were going through. It also helped me prepare myself, so that when my period actually comes, I know exactly what to expect
True.
you know so, but
Okay.
those are conversations that I could not have with my parents. So I think that, in as much as we're avoiding it, I would rather they hear it from a teacher and myself than going on social media or hearing from their friends saying, oh, this person did this person had a period, or this person got pregnant like this, and then they go online and they're searching. I would prefer to be the one to tell them and their teacher, rather than them going on social media and watching those things.
Okay. All right. I got it.
I have a question. Hear me?
Yeah. That your son is breaking out. You did. No, coming ready you ought to without that. You better don't bring no 40 equipment. You gotta be you. Yeah. You the boss lady. You gotta be loud and clear.
I didn't even know that was going on yesterday. I think they came to my stuff. You hear me though?
Yeah. Yeah. We can hear you.
Okay. So I mean, absolutely. Now that I from both
You're
of them.
breaking up. You're breaking up.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay,
If
let's.
if you get off and come back, will that stop the show?
Uh, something. Just get them. You
You
guys
got
can.
you got anything else on? Because
Why are you doing that?
hey Anna, can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you loud and
Yeah,
clear.
yeah. Before she come on, thank you for that for this great point. I think now as far as this question, should intimacy and pleasure, I would think yeah, intimacy and pleasure should be part of sex education. I can't really tell how they're going to do that. Not, I mean,
That would
when
be
you
difficult too, because your
yeah,
children want to experiment.
because hey, Anna, there's this. I don't know if you've seen it on social media. There's a particular culture, I think in Kenya, where I mean that's crazy. That's crazy. Where I think the mother-in-law, somebody from the family gonna go and test out the man. I saw that thing on Facebook. I'm like, wow, they're gonna before the man gets married to I mean to their daughter, they got somebody there. I don't know the auntie, somebody, and then they will go and test all the men to see how potent he is. And that's their form of sex etiquette. They want to see if the man is potent. They want to see because in their culture, I think it's Kenya or Uganda, in their culture, the more, they want to see the man working out with one of the family, and then from there, they believe that the man will be able to, because their thing is procreation, is reproduction. They want a strong child. They don't want, so the man will go and try out one of the auntie, and then, all that is crazy. But yeah, as far as the
That's
education,
crazy.
yeah, I think it should cover because when it comes to sex education, most of the thing we hear is, I mean, back when we were in school, like you were saying, as soon as they talk about male and reproductive organ, then we sitting there like covering our faces, because yeah, when they're drawing those things, the scrotum, this and this, we laughing, but yeah, okay, Oma. But then yeah, yeah, and then as we grow now and we see the importance of these things, so I think, like I wrote my comment over there before Fee coming, I think one of the major problem of separation breakup is pleasure and intimacy. Now it's not the overall, there are other underlying factors. So and when you notice, even though it is not an is the pleasure and intimacy are not formal education, as reproduction, STD, and all those other things that they teach her about, but you will find out people go to expensive counselor. People go to expensive counselor to discuss their sex life. You paying somebody hundred thousands of dollars so that they can tell you how to work your sex life. So why can't we just make it an education that people will just put it out there so you can tell somebody how to work it, how to
No, but you're talking about two different populations. You know that.
Uh-huh.
Right.
So the adults are the ones that have the therapy sessions and the rest.
yeah.
And there, unless you're saying there should be an education for adults for that too. But I thought this population she's talking about is like kids, children that are underage, like
But
below
fee
18, high
because
school and
feeding
down.
for fee just asks, I don't know. Did you limit it to kids because the question says that should sex education cover what I didn't see kids there though, so I thought we're speaking in terms of adults.
I think, can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Sex education is for kids, right? Younger.
Hear me? Like,
Adult education is called something else.
Oh, okay.
Right? We
clearly?
can't hear you. We can't hear you.
Is the Let me take the mic off. Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah, we can
Yes.
hear you.
Thing is my mic. Uh, but the topic actually, I was mine for both adults and starting as an adult, or you know they start to teach you.
You're
Um,
really breaking. It's like uh that's how you're talking. And I have full bar. Maybe you should join on your phone or
I
something.
don't know. Is Let me go on and come back and see too. I don't know.
It's not you. It's because if not, both of us won't be able to. We'll be able to hear her.
you guys able to go back and come back? Let me
Yeah,
see.
yeah.
Oh,
See if we can start the whole thing again.
Yeah, yeah.
okay. I've been a bit quiet listening to you people.
Mama, go back to your
Uh,
meeting. We'll come and shut the thing down and come back.
Andrew, can you hear me?
I'm hearing you, but you're like cracking in.
All right, I'm gonna have to rejoin.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah, sorry. Hey, how does it sound now? Can you hear me, Anna?
Yes, I hear you now.
Is it better?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't have to cancel it.
Yeah. So let me go.
So let me put the mic and see if that works. Let's see.
No, you sound fine now. If you do anything else, you might mess it up.
How about now? Do you still hear me?
Okay. Yes, I hear you now. So there's something I want to clarify. Maybe he needs to come up.
Let me get River Says Pro back on.
Is he back?
Let me tell them to come back. No, not yet. Let me get River Says Pro back. I don't know what happened. Maybe it's the weather. You can still hear me, right, Anna?
Yes, I hear you.
Okay. So the topic actually I had in mind, like we were going to cover from, you know how we learn about sex education almost like in your senior year. Like you go in depth when you're learning about the
Right,
reproduction.
right. So I want that's what I was trying to clarify to River Says Pro. When you talk about um SEX education, it usually refers to education to a younger population, children that people that should not be engaging in those activities. So I've just looked it up on Google. I said, what is the meaning of it? And it says SEX education or sexuality education is a process of teaching and learning about a variety of topics related to SEX and sexuality, right?
Mhm.
It can also help people develop skills and knowledge to protect their health, develop healthy relationships, make responsible choices, understand and protect the rights of others, navigate relationships themselves, partners, and community, manage their own sexual life. And then it comes down, it says, it can be provided by parents, schools, pediatricians, and other professionals. It can help children and adolescents make informed choices about their reproductive health, sexual activities, and healthy relationships. So this has to do with children, not. And then it says here again, sexuality education equips children and young people with the knowledge, skills, attitudes, and values that help them protect their health. Develops respectful social and sexual relationships, make them responsible, make helps them make responsible choices and understand and protect the rights of others. So again, I just wanted to stress that it's for children, people that are younger children, not grown-ups.
Okay. So, but also adults learn about it as well.
Yes,
Because
adults could learn about it, but I'm saying when the topic comes about education, I think there's a when you go for counseling or you talk about those kinds of conversation when it comes to XEX. Yes, it's a form of sexual education, but it's it's more. There should be a different term for that for
I,
adults.
yeah,
Not when you say use the word sexual education, it's for kids. You refer the population is children.
right.
That's what I was trying to say.
Got you. He's coming back on. But what are you guys? The conversation's been going on really great, and I absolutely agree. But I also think that there are some teachers that are not equipped enough to actually address these topics because some of them are not well informed and
Yeah.
they're looking at it from the spectrum of what society looks at and not what would benefit the children in that moment, right?
Yeah.
My opinion, they're not looking at it as every child in general, how they should perceive the topic and this thing and whatever surrounding it. Instead, I think society are kind of like tied into this whole gender equality thing, And that's where they're going with these educations from what I've seen and read. Like I saw a book for, and I think it was you I was talking to one. There was a book for eighth grader, and the wording in there was just so explicit that it was like, should is Gritter be reading that? Is that too much? Like telling them about their body, and that's where this topic came from, right?
Yeah.
Like where they're telling them what when you touch your bodies, the body part when you touch it, what will happen about it. That's what the pleasure and intimacy part came from. Where I'm like, should that about? Should they know that? Shouldn't they get older and like discover that on their own?
Yeah.
Or should their parents be the one like if they have questions, the parents should confirm it? Shouldn't teacher just teach and then like anything
Yeah.
else, like their parents should be the one addressing those you know, very sensitive type of stuff. And
Yeah.
your mom should be the one, and if it's a girl, mom should be talking to you about, yeah, if that happened, this is what's going to happen. You know, by
Yeah.
saying your reproductive system, you have ovaries, you have this, you have that. And
Mhm.
when you reach at a certain age that of maturity and you are with a partner, that will happen. But this is what it does. This is what your organs does. This is what your private part does. That like this is what the function is. The actual
Mm.
part
Yeah.
is
I
uh-huh.
think that's what the sex education teachers are supposed to be talking about, the
But
functions and the appropriate um body parts named and what they're used for. Now the part about talking about the pleasurable parts of it, like I know there was one time I was in a seminar, we're talking about like how parts of um the hierarchy of needs where they talk about sex and the pleasure, masturbation in children. You know how kids start experiencing those things. Should you frown upon it when a child is doing that? I personally don't think you should frown, but you should definitely try to redirect the child, because once you start telling a child don't do that, they start trying to wonder, why is mom always telling me don't do that. It starts it starts bringing out the curious side of them. You know how when someone tells you, "Oh, don't look here," like kind of like the Adam and Eve, how God would tell her, Adam, that don't touch this apple, and then the wife came and said, "Oh, if he keeps saying don't touch the apple, don't touch the apple, let's really look what's in there." Like when you don't like they say, what you don't know wouldn't kill you, but when you're curious to know something, it tempts you to go experiment to see what's really there. So I definitely think that the teacher should keep it strictly to the body functionalities, what they're used for, and why they're there. But talking about the good things of it, or like the pleasure parts of it, will only cause the kids to become too spontaneous, and then become more intimate, and not engage themselves in a lot of healthy relationships, because they will be experimenting from here to there and not thinking about the consequences, because children act based off of how they feel at that time. They're not responsible enough to know to think about the aftermath of things.
Right.
So
Truth
I
is
don't
right.
know.
I
I
think
don't know if that makes sense.
the truth is, oh, Andrew's back home. Okay, do you want to share your thoughts?
Yeah, I want to briefly share my thoughts because will not be a bit longer here. But I think the topic is very very much interesting. When it comes to this sex education, whether it should be addressed, you know, it should only address pleasure or intimacy, or it should be based on reproduction and safety. Uh, I think everything should go into place. Uh, Sex education should not just only address few, but should address the core things that we just talked about. It should address the issue of the pleasure in the, but what kind of pleasure? And
Right.
it should address the issue of the intimacy between the partners. So we need to do it so we people can get breasted to it. They can they can understand it. That's why young kids are coming up, teenagers. They got to understand that these things should happen. And nothing is not just only about reproduction, but to create awareness about STDs, like someone's mentioned, the sexually transmitted disease. So if you give him sex education to somebody, you should tell them that you gotta beware. You got you gotta be aware of this. You gotta be aware of this because if you don't do this, this will happen. So even if you're doing giving your sex education to your young kids, you tell them the positive and the negative part of it. So you're gonna tell the person, look, you are a young girl or a young boy, you're going into play because when you reach puberty stage and your hormones start to develop, obviously you will start to feed the signs. So you're gonna tell them, look, if you do X, Y, and Z, especially the female, if you do this, this is what's gonna happen to you. If you have unprotected sex, remember you will get pregnant and have a child, that is you have a child that you're not ready prepared for. You'll be a teenager, you have a child that you're not prepared for. You will get yourself, you will get sickness or disease that will affect you. So if you don't have a permanent relationship, or even have a permanent relationship, if you don't want to be, a single mother, so I'm saying this especially to the female. If you don't want to be a single mother, you need to have a protected sex because you don't just want to produce children that you'll not be able to take care of, that the parents or you, the parents, will not be able to take care of. And this is things that happen in our society, especially in our African society. The people go into it, they don't give the children the sex education to tell them why. They will only kind of hammer you, don't do the one, don't do the one. But you don't tell them the intricacies. You don't tell them if I not do this one or if I do this, what's going to happen. So you always know the cause and effect of anything that you carry on to. So you tell them, look, this is not just about having pleasure. It's not just about having intimacy with your partner. No, it is about controlling you how to carry on reproduction. Because the more children you bear in Africa, the more burden you have. Because if you don't have the resources to take care of your children, the school fees are high. Unlike in the Western world, you have tax break. They will get the children some money, some families some money based on your family, based on the age of the child, they will get them some money. But without me happy. So you tell them, look, you don't have to do this, you don't have to do that. You gotta be very careful how you go about this. Even in the Western world, you don't want to tell them to be bearing a lot of children because you are the mother, you have to sit down home and be taking care of that mother, that child. Then if you get a 2 year old child or 1 year old child, you carry them to daycare, they be to daycare and you bring extra income to daycare. So these are things that you got to discuss, you got to be prepared before you bring children into this world. So it should not only be for the intimacy and the pleasure part of it, but it should be about how and when to reproduce. The
Hmm.
last point I want to also stress on is the last one I want to stress on is the is STD spot. Yes, the STD spot have a key role to play in too, because you will find out that people have unprotected sex and they will be sick, and it will bring people from the other side. They will be sick, and they will take the sickness and transmit it to other people. Knowingly, someone is doing it, knowingly, someone is doing it unknowingly. So the issue to avoid STDs, you gotta be very, very careful for safety. You don't want to have a relationship that tomorrow, you have problem.
I
So
think,
that's my thoughts on that.
yeah, let me just what do you call the point that Anna I got Anna, I think you being a little protective. Uh and then you said that what you don't know don't hurt you, but then there's also a code that say ignorant to the law is not is so if you come
It's
to the
not an
United States
excuse.
and just because you don't know, you say, oh, I didn't know that it could still land you in jail, it could still get you arrested.
Yeah.
So they the thing about sex education. I think let's try to differentiate our actual biology class, because you say you talk about the body parts. Those are subject by itself. It's not. I think it's a little bit, even though.
Amer-
Mhm.
American biology is about cells and things. It doesn't talk about human body.
Oh,
Human
really?
body includes human body parts, and yeah, it's in health education.
Oh, really? Because when
Yes.
I oh, okay, maybe the answer is different. That's why I'm saying,
Yeah.
because in
So
Liberia.
everything human related, everything about your health is in health class, and health class has a human education. Exactly.
Oh, wow! I didn't. Thank you for telling me. I thought, because in Liberia, when we say biology, it is female reproductive,
No,
and all, all
No,
all these things.
anatomy
no.
and physiology.
Oh, wow!
Yeah,
Oh,
that's health class. The
Yeah,
health class is
anatomy and physiology, where it talks about specific about the human body. And
oh, oh, okay,
yeah.
okay.
But anatomy and physiology only talks about the body parts, but doesn't explicit. It doesn't talk anything about sex or anything like that. But health
like
and
the
wellness classes.
reproductive system,
No,
telling
no,
the
we're talking about like sex and stuff. It doesn't talk about that. It just
Be-
tells you what each thing does.
be-
Anatomy and physiology for nursing. That's what it does, right?
be- be-
They just talk about the female anatomy and
be-
the male anatomy.
yeah,
because
just
yeah, I wanted us, because this is what happened to one of my friend. I was being he's in another state. So his daughter,
he
so
just said,
yeah, so his daughter, the girl came fresh from out of high school. And then she went, college first year, she got pregnant. And, oh, the guy was so frustrated. He cried. But then the girl flipped it on them. She said, my mother, because then what happened now? Her friends started telling her about IUD, and, how they call it, other one, they shot, they kissed it. She didn't know anything about it. She said, Mom, I wish you could have put me, or maybe let me have IUD, or let me take the shot. And the situation now, she blamed her mom. So that's why I think it should go beyond just explaining about body parts and other things. I think those
So let me ask you a question, River says Pro. At what
uh
age do you think is appropriate for a parent to start talking about sex? Because to me, right,
mhm,
like I'm not saying that sex education should not be, or any type of sex talk should not be with the kid, especially from their parents.
yeah,
My thing is, at what age is it a comfortable conversation to have? Because to be honest, here they
mhm,
start really early, right?
yeah,
They start really, really early. But the problem is, like, I think at the age of 8 or 9, because that's when a lot of kids have their
at,
periods.
at
But but the thing is, like, there's a child at 8 or 9 may not really understand certain things, right?
yeah,
But how, at what age should a child be taught about contraceptives and the rest? Because to me, if I'm teaching a child about contraceptives, about something that they should not be doing,
mhm,
it's, to me, it's going to open them. It's going to open a kind of worm that I wasn't ready for. Like, they might want to start experimenting on sex and the rest. Like, it's not that
okay,
I don't want to talk about it, but my thing is, at what point, at what age do you actually have that conversation? Not just about their anatomy. Like right now, I teach my 4-year-old her body parts. She knows all of her body parts. But my thing is, is it appropriate for me to start talking to her about sex? No, it's not.
no,
yeah.
no.
Go
So
ahead,
that's
fee.
what I'm saying. At what age do you
Yeah,
think
what
it's
age fee?
appropriate?
Because you guys are
Hey,
more of.
Peterson, I just wanted to clarify something. So there's three type of science you take. There's one about just regular, the marine life and stuff like that, and then the anatomy and physiology. I want to clarify that. So you do talk about the reproductive, about pregnancy and all of that, but it doesn't talk about the sex education part. But it tells you about the body part and the function of it. And have another one that specifically talk about human body, like the human body one. Where this is where you go deep into reproductive system education. It briefly touched on specific class, what about sex education. I wanted to clarify that. Then go to Anna's question. What you let me talk. But I just want to clarify. So your 4-year-old is not up when what what's up.
What is happening?
I cannot hear
Your
Anna.
output is very bad. I don't know.
Oh, again, can you guys hear me?
Yes, hearing you a little bit, and then you can be breaking up when you are speaking.
Uh, I'm having so it's the weather.
Yep, I believe so. Here we go again.
Uh oh. Uh oh. Let's see. I'm gonna unplug this. How about now?
Sure.
So I took my mic off.
Okay.
It was giving a hard time. But I just want to talk about I believe when let's just say daughters, right? When the girls start to see her flower, I think that's a opportunity to start introducing that conversation, not telling them about contraceptive, but to understand why they're even going through that menses. Like when they start to have that menses, that's when I think the mother should start introducing those topics to them. Like, do you know what's happening? What is the menses? Like, what's going on with the body that's happening? It's not just blood. That's your eggs. You're releasing eggs. Start to go into that. Like, try to educate yourself so you're able to educate them and not just telling them taking contraceptive just to like not have babies, because I feel like that's the concept a lot of people give to young women, like just take contraceptive and then so to avoid pregnancy. But then you're not really explaining to them. You can also start teaching them abstinence. And yeah, we understand, they're gonna do people are gonna do whatever they want to do at whatever whatsoever. You can control that. But you can kind of speak in a way that they understand how their body is functioning and what's happening. Then you slowly start telling them, yeah, if you start to have feelings and go through puberty and start going through that, and you like a guy, and this is what's going to happen when you do this. But you start using yourself as an example. You see me and your dad that work and this and provide for you, creating a family. You start creating that dynamic for them and explaining to them for them to start understanding. But I really think like when at the age of 13, in my opinion, is when you can really start talking to them about in-depth stuff about the body function, even though they start having their cycle at that time, and you start telling them about just straight out going contraceptive and telling them, to avoid pregnancy, you can use this and use that. They're already going to know, because remember you said that they're privy to a lot of information that you and I didn't even know about. I probably didn't even know about birth control until I got into college. That's when I was like, oh really? That's what you take to not do what? But nowadays, children as young as 8 years know what contraceptives are. So it to me, you can't really you have to look at your child and see how developed and how their understanding are, and then you start slowly, like introducing certain topics to them. But I wouldn't say like start telling them to take contraceptive at an early age or even at an older age. You just have to kind of like look at your child, because everybody's individual. Like a lot of stuff my 2-year-old know, I honestly can tell you there's a lot of kids that don't know that in her class, and her teacher says that. So it depends on the child and how their understandings are going about things. That's what I would say I would do, especially for my daughter. I will observe her and start to see how is her understanding and what it is great for her. and then you start deciding on that. But Emmanuel, hi, how are you? Welcome, thank you for watching, and then welcome Peterson to the show. Let's get your info on this very interesting topic that we're all heated on.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And this topic is very nice. Really, parent talking to kids about their body parts and also their sex life, and also how they can grow, mature gradually, coming from a scientific point of view, is very important. And before I go into that, I just want to say congratulations for your anniversary. And
Thank
this
you,
is so, it's so, beautiful. It's a platform that gradually is getting loaded.
thank
And
you.
I can tell you before the next anniversary, this platform is going to be the hottest.
Oh,
And yeah, I can tell you that because the like of Heine and Riverset Pro and other people, it's a jet. How you going? What's the other guy? I'm not supposed to call the guy name. I don't want to call it.
My boo Jimmy.
So, so I don't want to call somebody name. So I want other people to call some people name. So I just want to say thank you so much for taking that direction. And we are here. Back to the topics.
mhm.
Um, in my opinion, and from my like back the days, science days coming up, I believe that there is no specific year or age range to talk about. Tell your child what are the body parts look like, how they function. But when it comes to really reproduction or reproductive cycle, a precise time should be around 6 years to 8 years. When around 6 years to 8 years, in our setting, modern setting, you see the child start developing, getting that kind of attention. In fact, the child will be going in the phone, going on internet, and start coming across a pornographic, how you call it, advertisement and stuff like that. So if you think setting to keep waiting for the child to get to a certain level before you start telling her or him something, you'll be saying, "Hey, mom or dad, this is belated. I know about what you're talking about." So the precise time around that time, 8 years, or let's say 6 years to 8 years, is a due to start to start to talk about a puberty measure or puberty activities around human life, how it works, even the reproduction. I mean, let's say the period, the message, how it is. The child will not be like receiving any message at that time, but the education, the child is not going to be, outside of the knowledge. Whenever the time comes, oh yeah, mom told me about this. That's it. The better thing you do is you should be able to be ahead of your children one step so that when they get to that point, they will know that yes, I'm already aware of this. So that could be my opinion. That could be the best thing. I think researchers also mentioned that because these are the ideal time the child minds start to develop. You go into 10 years, 15 years, 12 years, you will be behind the time. I can tell you that you will be behind the time. Starting small, small. Once the child starts saying the nose, the ears, the mouth, know that the child is going further. The child is going further. So you should know that you gotta get into that period and be able to tell the child what next come after the nose, the mouth, and the stomach and all of this stuff. Something beyond that, so that they can be aware of that.
Thank you so much for that. I know, like my daughter and my son, we made this thing about the body parts, and this is my private. Nobody should touch it. Like we're naming everything, and everybody knows it. So in this way, it kind of like protects the kids because they know certain people shouldn't come near them. Like
Right.
my close friends, I call her my sister. Her daughter is super smart. So I remember she came over and she was about to take a bath. So we were so I took her to the bathroom. She was like at that time, I think 7, almost 8. So I took her to the bathroom and I said, "Hey, we're gonna bathe you." And she's like, "I'm gonna bathe myself." I said, "Okay, do you know?" She's like, "Yeah, my mommy told me when I take a bath, even if somebody help me, I'm the only one who can clean certain areas." And I was
Yeah.
like, "Hey, that's good." So she went in there, took a bath. She's like, "Auntie, I did a really good job. I took that really good." And then she stayed in and changed her clothes. So even though we're having in our mind like what sex education should look like, it's like not to me it's not anything specific. It's just you're just able to have that easy conversation so the person know their body and how each of it function, and then that way it help. But the pleasure part where I was asking, should you like address pleasure and intimacy, I don't think you
You gone bad.
that again. Oh no,
Bad. Yeah.
so sorry. It's my network. The weather is really bad here. So can you hear me?
Yes, here you know.
I'll try to round up real quick because it's really dark here, so it's been raining and there's a lot of trees where I'm at, but it's usually good. I don't know what's
Sure. We are getting you now. I think you are clear.
so I guess everybody agreed that there shouldn't be uh we shouldn't teach them about pleasure and intimacy at a school level or
I didn't get you. Couldn't teach about pleasure.
see in the school, or do you
Uh-huh.
to be introduced by parents.
Okay. Okay.
That's what I think. I think parents should be, especially when it comes to girls, I think mom should play a key role in that. When it comes to boys, dad should play a very key role into that to understand that.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree with you. Like I said, right? For me, mine experience, like I partially touched it. I did not come up with my dad, so like everything was my mom. And and at a certain point when I started experiencing something, I at that time I started knowing myself. I want to hide it from my mom. And when she noticed it, he said, "Look, don't hide something from me." It was unfortunate that you did not come up with your dad, but this same thing happened to your dad. So don't anything you experience, if you don't feel comfortable, just let me know. Something like that. Until when I became a man, I start to go around older people. I started to know much about, and that's why like I said, I took keen attention to uh, some older people around me. Whenever they try to talk to their children, I I like almost steal the show to just listen and make better use of pieces of advice that come from the older people to their children, because I did not, you know, come up with my dad. But it's good that the parent played that role. Very important, the parent played that role. If you have your kids and they are coming up, you are parenting them, it's better you don't hide anything from them, because no matter what happens, it's something that they're going to know. They're going to know about. And in fact, the female children are at a disadvantage. High percentage at a disadvantage, because for them, uh, they come across a lot of story. If they are not aware of it, it's going to be challenging for them. For male, yes, I mean, their colleagues can just show a lot of things to them and they start moving with it, laughing about it. Boys' children, when they're coming up, they do those things. But indeed, so for them, it's not that much, of high, level challenge, but they can get along with it faster as compared to the female, or let's say the girls. So it's important to let them know to start. Don't wait for the teacher to do everything, because from the school there are protocol they follow. At the school there are certain protocol they follow, and I have not been like teaching at a kindergarten level, so I don't know what training they may be following. But I can say the way in the way the parents may go in depth or want to, like, nurture or bring up the children, the teacher may not be in depth. They may stick to certain rules. They may stick to certain level as per their profession. But a parent, I mean, you will go ahead and say a lot. You will go ahead and do a lot. So that thing is a good idea. Those are listening, and if they are not finding themselves working with their children, it's important to do. One thing I want to mention as well is it's not only sex life. You know, there are a lot of historicity about parents. It's important that your kids know what your historicity look like. For example, maybe you came from certain family. Why why what is much more identified with your family? It's important that they know. Like in some, maybe in our traditional background, we say that certain quarter do not eat certain kind of animal or certain meat. What's the reason? There are some traditional reason attached to it, and it become their taboo. We call that taboo. So is that real? That one is different argument. But their belief, they believe in certain thing. It's good that they know what their history still look like, so they can make some of them make use of it. Some of them will be discussing about their parental background. It's necessary that I say yes. Those days, my parents from this side. In fact, my parents, the leadership come from my parents. My parents, they identify with leadership. Why? My grandfather was a paramount chief. My grandfather was a chief. My grandfather was like this. My mother was women leader. The history, nature of your parental background is very important. Some would say, "Oh yes, I know we're working on it, but uh, my uncle or my father used to be a drunk and he used to drink, but thank God this time around, I can see his offsprings are doing better." So these things get to them, they get to understand the negative and the positive aspect of parental background. Not only about sex life, it's important to know. And I feel also the other side, I feel also is good if you have a beef with certain, people in the past. I mean, it could be argument. It's better to let the kids know what you have been passing through. Maybe you have had challenge. There have been a lot of challenges with certain family or certain individual, but this time around, like, it's getting better. It's better to know, because you know what? Nobody knows the future. And what could happen if your children or your child is coming up and your child is mingling with such a people and such a tradition? They know that, oh yes, my mom told me the type of people and these people, they had a problem before, but they have solved those problems, they are going around. So if there is any other thinking, any other thing happening, the child will be strictly on their alert. They know this family are not being like super happy with each other, but things have been improving. So I feel that your children needs to know much about you, in as much as your fiancé needs to know much about you. Your children need to know much about you, because they are your direct replica. Whenever you reach to our past topics, I say in our life, they are stepping straight in their shoes. They must know where to start from. They must know who to talk to. They must know who to interact with. So it cannot be like, oh, you know what, when you tell the child this, you will be introducing hate, hits, or you'll be introducing that. No, it's not a case. The child need to know exactly where you are so that tomorrow, if they are stepping in that shoes, they will know where they are taking over, what they are taking over, and where next to go. I feel it's important for them to know.
I absolutely agree. It looked like we lost Andrew and Riverside Pro, but I saw a question that he was asking, and I don't see it populating up on the board here. So let me just read it. He said, "Do teacher give permission to teach extracurricular activities?" I think when the school year began, and I'm not a teacher, I'm not really too informed on this, but I'm just gonna take a wild guess. I would think they're giving a curriculum for the school year because when my kids start school, the administrator usually send us what they're teaching them for that first half of the school year. So that is like the entire curriculum, what's happening each day that they go to school. So I will also think that's like a general thing that they do, that they give curriculums out and then they have to follow the guidelines through the Department of Education, which is approved for each school age level. They have to follow. So that's the only thing I can say. I don't think sex education is considered extracurricular activity. Now it's part of like the curriculum that student has to have to take. And I think, as much as I believe like parents should play a key role into that, and I think Anna really covered that greatly when she was speaking earlier. I think teachers should have certain limit that they can go, and there are certain limit that parents can go. I'm not sure if they're still giving permission slips to carry home for parents to sign to see if they want their kids to participate in those classes. But I will say, when I was in school, they always gave us the paperwork to take home, even if they're going to be showing the videos or anything for that matter. Like my parents or somebody else had to approve of it in order for me to sit in my class. So, I mean, they are very strict with it. I don't know how things are going now because, especially with kids being exposed to so many things compared to how I was back in the days. I would think now, I don't think they're even giving the options for parents to approve on that. I think they're just strictly making it part of the curriculum to teach. But that's just my wild guess on that. Hey, Anna, she, I don't know if you want her to be on here, but she,
Yes, I don't know. Anyway,
that's for a question. Anna is gone. But yeah, we can try to wrap up because my network is really active up and I don't want to keep like having to figure it out. But this topic, I definitely wanted to talk about it because I saw something where there was a new book, a kid's, book that they read, and is one of the lists that they give out for them to read. And they were literally that book. When I opened that book, I was like, "What are they even approving as children books? That cannot be children book." And they were talking about how when the body parts, if you touch it, how pleasurable it is, what it makes you feel like. And I'm like, this is a lot for eighth grader. Like this is so explicit and it shouldn't be approved in school. So
eighth
in my
grade, grade eighth.
so in my mind, I'm thinking like if they're going to approve this, then I wouldn't give permission for anybody to teach my kids about sex education because if you're approving for them to look through these illustration with a little wording under it, letting you know what each part is doing, that is too much for grade 8 to really be learning because now you're teaching them to even seek out more about what possibly could happen.
Yeah.
And then forcing parents to get into conversation that the child is not even developed and ready for to even talk about. So that's why I was like, no, let's talk about this topic today. You know,
So I don't know because there could be assumptions that introduce such of um, maybe decision. There could be assumption in a sense before you consider eighth grade students to read this book. You must assume on an average eighth grade student could be in this age range. That is what I said. For
right,
6 years to 8 years, there must be education about whatever they're going to meet in a close nearby future. So if the assumption is by the time you get to eighth grade, you must be around 10 years old. That is not wrong. It's not wrong to introduce that topic. But it's if they assume, because I tell you this thing, I don't care what we think, like there could be a blind entry into sex life and it lead to different things.
absolutely.
A blind entry into certain things, it could lead them to different things. So the assumption that they try to make that introduces such a book, that assumption is falling on the age range, then they are like similar to I said, thinking ahead of them one step before they get to that point. Because even they can tell you what all the body parts potentially could lead into, but there could be some teaching that tell you the right time to start to experience that. It could come as an education or with like an educational purpose, but precisely you're going to be informed at this age range. You should be mature, or you should be at a time that you can think about getting to such life. But this is an education purpose. So again, we cannot go away from that. The
Right.
protection should be there for the kids.
Just
The
but
protection should, you got to lay the protection. It's
Mr.
something, but
Mr. Peterson,
absolutely.
I get all you're saying about starting early. My question to you is how early? I want to get a number.
he
I,
did.
I talked to you. I did. I said,
Then I
I
missed it.
said,
Sorry.
I said, in my opinion, from my past reading and science classes, there is not exact age range that that they will tell you that this is the time you should do. But researchers keep saying the age between 6 to 8 years is a very good time that you start telling your child about the reproductive, organs and their function. You should be start to tell them what are their body parts like. That's the time. That's the period. So that's what I told Fee. If the book she's talking about assumptions that introduces that book tells you that by the time you reach the eighth grade, you should be 10 years old, 12 years old, then it's not wrong. It's not wrong to
But
allow
it's
your child.
explicit. Oh my God. It was just like, no. Like, I want to put her and boy, like, don't get into that too early. Like, that's too much.
Don't get that wrong.
Know their body parts. But I like the way the wording was put. If I was writing that book, I it that way. Like, if you touch this, this is how it feels. It feels good and blah, blah, blah. X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, this is too much. Like, I don't want you to tell them that. Just say, this is the body part. This is what it does. And keep it moving. Let me introduce the rest of it to my child. I don't think anybody else should be telling my child what it is,
Oh
like,
man, come on, come on, come on. No, no, you're getting it wrong. You getting it wrong. You getting it wrong. So I mean,
I was like, no.
you go off. We're not getting you. Realistically, there must be people telling your child about that. In fact, your child is going to be very shocked when you are speaking to them about such a thing. Hey, mommy, what
And
you
that was
saying?
what I was saying.
You get that?
That's why I was saying that your kids will have to hear it at school, because there's some things
Right.
that they want to ask that they will not ask you as a parent. Even if
Good.
you guys are the coolest parent and daughter, or daughter and son, or mother and son, there's still some doubts that they have, but they will not ask you.
Right. I agree with you, Anna. I tell you that. That's exactly it is. So you should be comfortable if a child is being taught in the school. And again, I say you should be able to even go in depth what the teacher says. Because you know what? If the child does not get the true story, they're going to find out for themselves.
You get my
And at the
point.
and at the point they're going to find out for themselves,
Yeah.
some may not be blessed to come up, safely. It could
Yeah. And
be
that's
the
what I
wrong
was
way.
saying.
So
Exposure.
if you know that age range, if you know your child is developing maturity, you better get to work and start to make them to feel comfortable.
That's a
And so that,
very hard
look, if you sit
conversation
with
to
them and
have.
teach them, if you speak to them about certain things, when they want to talk to you, they won't be shy again. They will talk to you strictly.
Wow.
But if you start to dodge certain things, they feel you build that kind of, you disconnect both of you. So when they want to speak to you of certain things, you have never mentioned that before to them, they are not going to be, in that kind of a position to talk to you.
I have
But
a
if
funny.
you have spoken to your child about her message, okay, if you have spoken to your child at a certain age about her message, and you're going to tell her how it is, what is it for, and how important it is, if the child start to see that and it's not the way you told her, she's going to be brave and come to you, mom. I start to see my message, but I'm seeing it this way. You get me? But if she had not heard that from you, she would not tell you anything about it.
That is very true. I have a sister who is a teenager now. So the other day we're having a conversation with my mom, and then she came in the picture and then asked my mom that, oh, she was talking about birth control. That which birth control that she needs birth control. That her 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 doctor has said she has acne, so a birth control can cure it. My mom said, I don't want to hear that. What kind of
Aha.
adult? You always watching adult. And to me, like, I was like, I just turned and asked her, what does she need birth control for? She says for her acne. I said, that's all you need it for. She said, yes, her doctor says because of acne. Like, that was very, that was like a typical mom's. My mom said she always likes adult things. What is she doing that? What does she need that for? You know? And it was just funny because, in as much as it can help with the acne, we already know that she's a teenager. There's a lot that they will be doing in the background. Her friends are probably
Yeah.
on it already, and they have told her that, oh, do this, and then she's using the excuse of the acne as a reason why she wants it. The way my mom drove her. If my mom, if the shoe that my mom had could meet her, that shoe would have taken her to the hospital. She said, "Go and sit down. What do you need that for?"
I like, it's hard. I don't want to be the African parents that we have that mindset. Is like, no, I don't want to talk about it. But I feel like African parents are not really giving a lot of
No, it's
like,
a very difficult conversation to have, for real.
Okay,
like,
so I have a question anyway. Just finish.
We can't hear you.
oh man, you guys just
What is it? I have a question. And this question is directly for you and Anna.
Oh,
I want us to be a little bit practical. The
okay.
first time the man approached you, did you ever explain? Did you ever discuss that with your mom?
No.
Were you ever told?
Even
Were you ever told in advance that if you reach a certain age, a man is going to approach you, and this is going to be like, okay, you see. So
no,
if
but
you were
but I
told,
think it helped. It helped me, to be honest. I
no,
I
no,
see.
I'm not talking about that side. I'm just talking about keeping the conversation with your mom.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you are a female child, your mom should be the first person to know your secret.
Mm.
Okay.
But this is a but this is the thing. Your mom was not able to tell you that this is going to happen to you at this age or at this time, around this time. So
Yeah.
as such, you were like surprised when that happened. And what came to your mom? Oh, when my mom hear this, it's going to be something else.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But
But
hey,
I think our
if
moms know though. They just
your mom will
don't tell us.
discover from the way you smile, from the way you act, from the way you do things. It's obvious your mom will discover that. But did you really sit by yourself and say, hey, mom, I think a guy proposed to me or a guy said this to me? You never did it. But I can tell you, if your mom had told you earlier about how these things could work, if that happened, the first person that you will be running to is your mom. Hey, mom, I experienced XYZ. Somebody told me as your mom is going to clearly, I mean, let's say, guide you in the process.
Right.
So,
See, do you
so
feel that way?
of course, it's possible.
Because I don't feel that way. Even now, I think if even if they could rewind the times and say, let me do something differently, I definitely would not want to have that conversation with my mom. I'll be I'll feel awkward. I won't be able to have the freedom that I had at that age. I was driving, I could go to parties and come back as long as she knew. No, but if I ever had conversation this guy is coming to, can you stop noise? Take go. That this guy is picking me up to a party. I'm not going because my dad will say you're not going. So I always say my friend or my friend's mom or my friend's
See,
parent. You
you see
know,
that?
giving the guy conversations, I will never tell them, oh, you know, uh, mommy, my BF is coming. I can't say that. I'll bring them to my house. What I did that I'm thankful was that all these BFs that I had, I always brought them around my house so that I see how they interacted around my family to give me a sense of what I wanted. But I would never ever tell them or introduce them to my parents as my BF. I'll say this is my
So
friend
what was the reason why you decided to do that?
because I didn't want to get
No, no. Why you decided to bring them around your place?
because my home is my comfort,
Right.
and the way people interact around my family determines whether or not I should keep them in my life.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
and
you
I
see,
definitely was never comfortable talking about those types of conversations with my parents
I
because my
agree.
parents are a typical African family. And I think that if I knew about these things that you guys are telling me to talk to my kids about now, or when they're between 6 and 8, I was very young then. And even when I started knowing about those things, like I told you before, children at 5, children at 4, the things they know, my 4-year-old already knows about pregnancy.
Mm-hmm.
you know I wouldn't have known about those things at that age.
Yeah.
Like, so it's a really tough society that we're in, and it's not even as if you could send your child to Africa that the child will be better there. The child might even be worse.
Right.
So The media has failed, to be honest. I think that's why I'm still bent on the thing that what you really don't know won't expose you to a lot. The less you know, to me, when it comes to those topics, will prevent you. That's why in the
Right.
Catholic Church they say abstinence is the best. I grew up in the Catholic faith. They told you if you do anything, you're done. So I already knew, even as a teenager, even as a young adult. Trust me, I see, you know this. Before we even engage in those kinds of things, we were scared. So you take every precaution, even every precaution that you can think of. We did it because we want to make sure that there's no probability of anything. But
That
now
was not
people know
blind.
that there
It
are
was you were doing it
contraceptives.
blindly.
Yeah, so I was very blind. I didn't know, but I'm saying that it helped me be extremely careful
Right. Yeah.
because I knew about the STD, and every time that I had a conversation, and even at the point where I had a conversation about STDs with my doctor and my parents, I knew that if you just try, you're dead. You have HIV straight.
Yeah.
No, yeah. So that fear alone is enough to make you make right choices. So when you're having a conversation with a child and you're telling them about the process and everything, and you're telling them about STDs and everything, they know that there's a probability for a good part. My parents knew that if they told me the worst, by the time I get to the age where I'll eventually understand that there's also a good. So I don't believe in telling the child the good first. Tell the child the possible worst. So that when they get to the age where they understand, then they'll make consensual decisions.
Well, I think you should tell them both because even though we didn't really get that education and we were figuring it out on our own, I don't think our parents, and just to play devil's advocate for our parents, they knew what they knew based on what they learned as well. So it was kind of like a chain reaction. They were
Yeah.
only doing what they have been taught. Like the saying goes, you only do what you know? So they couldn't, and I don't even think there was that room for you to even sit and have that conversation. You just automatically knew that was stuff you don't talk about and you don't engage in that because that's what's going to happen. Like some of the things some 8, 10 years old know, I honestly didn't learn that until I was like 25 years old.
Exactly.
Like what? They know all this stuff and I'm just learning about it. I will tell you for the longest. I thought when you're growing up, you have a little tiny baby in your belly, and then when you get older, like your belly starts to grow, 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 and it gets bigger. Like I really thought about that. And then when I got to college and I started learning about everything because I was not allowed to be part of that sex education class. My parents signed no, she's not learning that. No. Because if she learned it, she's gonna start doing it. So
Exactly. That's what I believe in too. And I'm very strong behind it. I want a child starts knowing something, they want to experiment. I'm sorry.
I
I know you guys keep saying no, but it's the truth.
No, Anna, I don't believe that because I know there were some children too that their parents believed that and they did that and then turned out having teenage pregnancy. I went through the same thing. I didn't have teenage pregnancy. That's why I said it depends on the individual. You have to look at your kids see what how their understanding is and what it is, and you start to treat them that way. Because I honestly can tell you, there's a handful of young ladies that I grew up with in our neighborhood that all had children before they even made it to college in high school. And
Mm.
then it was just by God grace. Unfortunate for me, I was not, my mind was not on that. So I don't think it's about what when you get to know, you start to do it. I think it's better they know. And then you play your part as a parent, as a teacher, as an educator. You play your part, but try to make them to understand what the real truth behind it instead of blinding them to it because
I'll send my
So
I'll send my daughter to you to teach her. I can't have
So
that
you
kind of
see,
conversation.
you see, I think
Yeah.
it depends. It depends which of the direction you want to take.
Right.
But the right thing to do is to educate your kids because you know what? Education is powerful. It's a power. If you educate a child, you are giving them the reason to do anything and will not hold you responsible for what they do. If the child does not know about certain things and you decide maybe you're protecting their future, you may be harming their future.
Yeah.
Because no matter what you do, if you go sign a book, they should not teach you or teach your children will learn it by themselves. Will you take the internet off their reach? Will you take the cell phone from their hands? Will you stop them not to visit their friends? There are a lot of means right now in our age, in our days. I watched one Nigerian lady that was saying, "Look, parent, try to stop your children from having using internet in your absence." I was just laughing. He said because there are a lot they follow, lot they watch, and will lead into other side. And in my heart, to myself, I was saying, no, you know what? The worst decision to make is to stop them in your present. What if they go to school? Are you going to be there? Why if they go visit their friends? Are you going to be there? So indeed, Anna, like you said, even though you feel if you say no, they should not teach them a sex education, it will help them. But I can tell you, if the children come out good, it's just by the grace of God. You just got to do all what you can do. Like you are a civilized lady, you need to teach the children the right thing to do and the right thing for them for their future. Instead, deny them education. Nobody knows what you could be doing. But if you feel it is comfortable to say no, I don't want my children to like go through sex education in school. If it worked well for you, then you believe it's going to work well for them. That's it. It means you got to be working around the clock, 24 hours to ensure to ensure they follow what you want. But again, I think the best idea is make your children to be friendly with you, get your children to confide in you, get your children to share with you their first experience ever. And they will share with you their first experience ever if you can tell them what that experience is going to be like. That is important.
That's a tough one as a parent, though. But
Yeah, of course, it is. It is. It is a tough one. But do you agree with me? You can tell your child if you go to school and you are educated, you're going to get good job and you're going to live better life. Can you tell your child that?
you can, but the kids these
Okay,
days are you
no,
not
but
that.
you know, that is discussion. That is a discussion. You can tell your child.
Yeah. The
Okay,
kids,
good.
my little niece, you're telling her, you're like, it's good that you're making good grades. When you do well, you're graduated and start working and making money. And then she's like, I don't even have to graduate and I can make money right now. And I'm like,
And she's right. She's right. That's the conversation right there, Fee.
you
That's the
know,
conversation right there.
yeah, I agree. So
That's a
remember,
good question. That's a good conversation to have at the
That's a
dinner table.
conversation point.
Should you go to
Oh
college?
wow.
well,
Is college or education required needed or mandatory? Or I
so
mean important?
yeah,
That is the very good conversation. If a child tell you, look, mom, I don't have to graduate, I can start making money now. Yes. If I'm the one, you open a very good conversation for us. And let's get into it and see if you will be convinced that when you are novice, you're going to make money. And
right.
you start naming people who make
Yeah.
money, what make them smart. They have a It have a foundation before you go wherever you want to go. So
Right.
indeed, if you
So
can tell your child that, then you need to step further. Right.
true. So let's just address this last question from River says Pro. Um, I hope you guys can hear me.
Sure. Yeah.
Told that I was told that sending in poorer societies are a traditional form of sex education. It encouraged female genital mutilation.
Mutilation.
My tongue got like tied. This process is acceptable in many cultures. What do you think of this taboo issue? That's kind of like cultural related. I really don't have much to say on that. I just think it depends on like every other culture. For me, I don't support that. But again, if we're going to play, this all for all equal culture, if certain groups have culture and that's what their culture is, I think the best thing to do is to just look at the safety of it and educate people on it. I know a lot of people are against, the genital mutilation, but I am against it. But I was then again, when you
Why are you against it?
against this, I think the process of how they go through it is not. But if that's people practice and that's their culture, they have choose to follow, and a lot of people are educated on it on why they agree to do it on their own. Then I don't have a problem with it. But I have a problem with it where people are being choose against their will and they're not part of that culture and they don't want to follow it. Then I do have a problem with that. That's
Wait,
where I stand on that.
I have a question. Is it the culture where they cut the women's
Yeah.
uh, clitoris?
Yeah.
I think that's wrong though. Really they're depriving them of that pleasure.
What pleasure?
Because you as a woman you have you enjoy intimacy or through your clitoris too, like not only from the inside but also from outside. It has some level of pleasure there too. And then the second thing that I'm against that is I know it's cultural, and it's very important to be culturally sensitive. So I'm not taking this away from anybody's culture, but I think just the fact that it can be painful is another thing. Even male circumcision, like, I understand why it's done, but it's a process that is painful to watch.
Okay, so I just want to say this. If you read a little bit deeper about why female circumcision, why it came to being, and why people practice it, historicity of that whole event. It started back then when our forefathers, our ancestors thought that men married they married more than two or three wives, and they feel that the women do not have sexual control. They do not have control when they grow their clitoris, and and they have that desire, and they are very active at sex. They don't have control. So the mothers decided to get rid of that, and when they get rid of that, the lady is much more control. To really arouse that lady is difficult, and the lady is not going to just get quickly, aroused if they get that away from her. So it was one way to control that proliferation or that kind of sexual activities. That was the main reason for which they started to do that. And then besides that, they started growing to, they started making it like a society. If they do that, they gotta do the training. They start adding some values to that process, that they take you in a bush. They are not just going to get rid of that, but also going to train you how to take care of
Penny
your
dash.
spouse, how to take care of your children, how to take care of your home. And they start to a bit modernize it in that form. But this is the issue.
They bring a chair.
I feel that that is not okay. That was it's not a good thing to do, because like Anna said, you deny those people of certain thing. But our tradition, I cannot condemn them that they practicing that is wrong. They believe in what they believe in, to do what they want to do. But to answer his question, I feel that anybody for that matter can go ahead and do what they want to do. You don't have to know fully well that if you destroy that little girl, and you taking certain thing away from her because you want her to be like this, like that. But what is important is to provide a proper education and get the little girl control herself and know what is good for herself. But I can tell you, our parents, our forefathers, they did something for a precise reason. They don't just get to anything. They don't just do anything for any reason. They did something for a precise reason. At that time, there were some forcing, women, and doing a lot of, violent activities. The gender violence we're talking about today, this thing
Mm-hmm.
started way back then,
Yeah, the
and
men couldn't control themselves.
they couldn't control that. And for the male circumcision, it became legit, because they feel that if the male is not circumcised, they carry a lot of diseases. Okay, so they start to say, hey, no. In fact, from the biblical days, they endorse that the male should be circumcised. So so now, science people start studying that and say, yeah, if a male is not circumcised, they carry a lot of diseases. So why will you agree that male be circumcised and you don't agree for female to be circumcised? But that's a different that's a different argument. I just want to say,
To respond to that, I want to respond to that.
yeah, respond to
The
it.
female skin, the female genital area does
Yeah.
not have a lot of skin.
Mhm.
Yes. So, and even the part that is being cut, it's not as if it's hiding somewhere. It's very open and
That's the one that
visible.
control the female. If you
Yes.
get
And
too
that's what I'm
wise,
saying.
you don't want the other woman
They
to,
just
like,
be,
since it is
they,
now a time, since it's now a day to meet, you don't want her to get
now which is
aroused
selfish.
quickly and just jump out there.
That's why I say the man is a lazy somebody. He cannot handle his cargo. So they'll go and punish a lady because that's because they didn't have Viagra back in the day. So they needed
So now
Viagra.
Viagra, and I will tell you that.
They,
If I tell you,
you
if I
can
tell you, look, I tell you this.
women's libido is only when they most of the time their sex
The
drive
Viagra,
is
where did it come from? If an older man give you a leaf, you chew that leaf. You know what it's going to do to you? If they have more than what you call the chemical thing that's going around. No, the people do it natural
Eh,
leaves.
that's what I'm saying. That is selfish of them to do that to the females because already they're reducing their sex drive, and it should not be done. They should more of like because to me, right? I think that women only have that sex drive when they're touched, unless they're in the mood to do that. You understand? But for someone to say, "Oh, we don't want the women to," when it's not their turn and all the like, I think it's BS because they are not capable of handling their business. So they will not come and punish a innocent lady. Now about the circumcision for men, I think the process is painful. I like the fact that it's done when people are kids, so they don't get to remember that that experience. But I definitely think it's something that it's for health reasons. Like if you look
Yeah,
at the advantages of of male circumcision is more than a woman's advantages, or this a
I agree
woman's,
with you.
you know,
Totally agree with you.
yeah. So and looking at a an uncircumcised man, when you see it, it doesn't even look appealing, you know. But when you see a lady, whether
Well,
circumcised or
you-
not, I'm sure it will still look good, you know. So it, I'm
Ah,
just
no,
saying,
no, no.
I'm just
I,
saying, I think that's a very bad practice. But
I
you know, you're depriving the woman of her her pleasure. Male circumcision, it helps them even enjoy it better. So I mean,
Mom,
it's just a topic that we really have to expatiate on. But
I think River said for wanted to come on real quick. You can come on really quick so you can give your thoughts, and then that way we can close. But this was a really good introduction. I honestly, with the whole female thing and stuff, I, I don't see the sense behind it. But I feel like also if we're going to be culture sensitive, and like I said, if people are educated on why they're doing it and they choose to do that, then sure, that's what you guys want to do that. But where I'm against it, where you see a lot in the media where people are being picked up and they said they're going against the will, they're doing that. Sometimes too, I just feel like the Western world try to impose their way of life on other people, and without really educating people on it and then understanding how it affect them, and the long term consequences of it, so people can make their own decisions if they choose to do that or not. But I don't know if they're doing
oh,
them as well, then oh well, no. But if the women, like, I know people in my family, I know that went through that, and in the long run, they're facing a lot of health problems because of how that process went, and it wasn't sterile, and they're going through a lot of stuff, and. But definitely.
so, so, Sophie, I think fairly,
Uh-huh.
the education and understanding now, there
Yeah.
is no significant reason for which you will need to practice female circumcision,
Right.
because those days there were not much education around of decency,
Yeah.
and the only society, only area that female could come from to become well housewife. But if you are taken away for that half a year, maybe 6 months, 5 6 months, and you are well indoctrinated to manage your home, take care of your family, that would have been the best area, and everybody used to go there just for that purpose. But now you go to school, you come up better. Now you go to church, you go and you practice religious activities, you come up better. So for me, I don't see the necessity of keeping female or girls' children in such a horrible manner, treating them and just for the purpose of, because you want to kill their sexual life, and
Right.
you killing yourself. It makes no sense. So indeed, we just try to bring those kind of argument, but realistically, it does not make sense. Maybe to some people, but for me, I don't think it's something that our people would practice. Maybe Russell Pro is here.
Yeah.
You would think about our people, what they used to do at the time in Grandmaster.
Yeah, so I mean, look, I asked that question because it is a form of it falls on the category of under the category of sexual education when it comes to traditional. And Peterson, you're right. That's exactly so. What happened over the years? It got transformed. It wasn't just for the mutilation. What they started doing was showing them different aspect of being like a housewife.
Yeah.
For what I like, teaching them how to cook, how to clean up, how to serve your man. So then, I think that's how it became legalized. But now they got a whole new group against it right now, which I mean, for health reason, you know.
Yep.
But on the overall, as far as this topic is concerned, and I want to hear from Fee and Anna, especially because you guys went through the system here. For me, I think sex education, uh, overall, it has been positive in the United States. And Peterson, we the people who spend our life in Liberia. And Peterson, this is my assessment. I noticed, even though people will say population wise, there are more people in the United States than Liberia. But if I look at the teenage pregnancy rate, one thing I noticed in high school, I noticed the American high school, and I mean, I could be wrong, but that's just my assessment. You will find out that all the girls that go to that school, they will graduate out of high school, Peterson.
Yep.
If they
Mm-hmm.
dropping, it wouldn't be for pregnancy. Maybe some of them,
No.
yeah, they just decide not to send them. But if you go to Liberia, even back then when I was in school, you will find out that because that African mentality, Peterson, we didn't want to. Even look, I share with you with my daughter, when the guy came here, the boy came here to come and, oh, Peterson, almost, oh man, imagine this is not something I grew up. Imagine me going to my father talking about this man. So I wasn't used to it. Oh, my heart
Yep.
started beating. I call Fee. I said, Fee, I need your help because I don't know how to handle this thing. You know how the people born in this country, Peter, you think that you myself will never, it's like you can't want to know part talking about. Yeah, I'm telling you. So that boy came right in my face. I'm like, Jesus Christ, what is this? For real. So yes, and then so I think because of that lack of education, we don't want to talk about it. Like Anna was saying, like certain thing when we ask our people, they get mad. Who told you that? How you manage to know that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That's
we don't.
wrong.
Yeah,
That's wrong.
so that's why you look a lot of the teenage pregnancy rate in Liberia because I think
Yes.
they don't have that education that
Right.
these children look. One thing about these children, by the time they reach certain age, they're so smart. Their parents tell them, the teachers tell them, so they already know a lot. They already know
Yes.
a lot. Back over there, our children over there will get pregnant. Oh, I will not know. Oh, because some of them they don't even know their struggle. They don't know a lot. So I think on the overall, that education has been successful in the United States because of their open culture. Now, open culture, Peterson, it can come both negative and positive. Sometimes it's good too, but I think their open culture makes that process successful in the United States, where their graduation rate, women graduating from colleges, success
Mm-hmm.
rate, some of them, one or two may have children before they graduate, but on the overall, a lot of these college students that I see, none of them got children, and they go through the process. Whereas in Liberia, a woman will have like 3, 4, 4, 5 children before she even try to get one BSc. So that's my assessment. I don't know why you guys think about it. I think that open sex education, so far it has worked in the United States because of the open culture. It has not worked in Africa because our close culture and things that we consider as taboo.
I want to speak to that quickly. Fee, a minute. Yes. Pro, you are 100% right. That was why I was just saying it's very important to start to educate your children. As African, we refuse to tell them, educate our children, and so the teenage pregnancy rate is high.
Yeah.
It's high in our setting. And let me tell you something. This is just a short illustration. I got a story, and this was something that happened in Liberia. A lady started to educate her daughter that, hey, don't allow any man to take you anywhere and lay down over you. That was her education to her daughter.
Hmm.
This time around, this girl went, and the guy did not lay down on her, and the guy managed to pregnant her. So when she went, and they got to know that she was pregnant because of feature, everything started changing. Took her to the hospital and realized that, oh, you are pregnant. And the lady said, no, my daughter can't be pregnant. She's small, number one, and she had never told me any man ever did anything to her. So after talking one thing to another, they got to know that she had been close to this guy. And her mother asked her, did you allow this man to do anything to you? He said, no, the man did not let down on me. Oh. But how you got pregnant? How you got pregnant? That was the argument. So the point is the education she tried to give, she was not giving any education. She was just saying something completely foolishness.
So how did she get
Is it
pregnant?
sex is the only thing men should let over you? Then it's that? It's not. So why can't you tell your daughter the right thing so she can know what to do? If that girl had known everything about men moving with a girl, she would not allow that guy to do anything to her funny. But she never knew. Her attention was to different area, and that was different thing happening altogether. So you are totally right. In Africa, we need to be able to tell our children the right thing so they can be on the right path. Anna, you were asking?
I was asking if they didn't lay with her. How did she get pregnant?
Oh my God. Anna, ask Roma says, maybe you answer how
Oh,
you manage.
they got different way of doing things now. The society has evolved, so we
I heard that you got it. But bro, after the years, at some point, when they weren't really enforcing a lot of sex education, there was a lot of pregnant young teens. And then as, the education and then campaigns and things started going on, like, trying to educate young women and also actually implementing, some type of contraception, that really helped a lot to drive that
Yes.
and the concept of it. I think it really these days you rarely teenager getting pregnant, and
Yeah.
so
And that's because
Oh,
they
dear,
have they
please,
have the
baby.
the plastic in the health department, in the
yeah.
nurse office.
And I also
Can
think
you use that now? You save a number in the phone?
contributed to that. A lot of people look at it as an abortion clinic. A lot of evangelical. Yeah,
We can't hear you. Mom, I'm coughing.
sorrow fee, yeah, yeah, but I don't know. Usually your all your equipment always good, but today I think maybe I don't know. When we're discussing good thing, the devil won't come in, but
Roma said, I beg you.
yeah, but,
River says, I want to hear about that story with your daughter.
yeah. So
Roma said,
yeah, look, thank God she yeah already took on camera. So this boy, he came, the first time he came to the house, and the mom, they came, but then he came back. Then she said that somebody wants to see you, and I'm like, what's that? And then I went in the living room. This boy sitting there talking about, oh, he called his name. Oh, I want to be your daughter boyfriend. So what the heck is this? Oh yeah, and look, my African said my whole thing. I'm looking like, and I like what? So I was so angry, and then I said, you know what? I don't know what to tell you right now. Yeah, that's why I tell you. I say I'm not. I don't know what to tell you right now. Maybe next time. So that's how I went and called Fee. I said, "Look, Fee." That's why I explained it to Fee. I said, "Fee, I've never had this experience before. So I don't know. What do you think? That's how she gave me some. Then he came back the next time.
That was
I
nice of
was,
him.
yeah, oh yeah, he came
He
and the
back.
boy
gave
was serious. The boy was very serious. You tell
Oh,
me.
serious, man. I was. Then he said, "Oh no, it's nothing like. Don't think, we just, blah blah blah." So, I'm looking at him like, mm-hmm. So yeah. Then later on, but I found out he's a nice kid. Right now he's gonna be in the Marine. He went on the base, and Even they went to the college thing, he bought me a cologne. He's very respectful. So I'm kind of like,
Yeah.
ever since I talked to Fee, because seriously, I was gonna, I was gonna open that door
That's
and
what
tell him to hit
my
the door.
husband will punch his face and tell him to get out.
Oh yeah, that's what I want to do. And I was about to open that door and say hit the door, but good thing, I kind of like
You
talk
see,
to Fee.
and I told River says,
You were really more than a
even
man. You
Yeah,
even back in our days, River says, back in our days, any boy or any man who goes to a child or to his girlfriend house,
yeah,
you are not going to introduce yourself,
I
but
know.
just to go and speak to the parent.
yep.
That person is exceptional.
You can't
That
even go
person
by yourself.
always,
You have to
on
go
an
with an
average,
adult.
that person can turn
Yep.
out to be a better person.
Yeah.
That one of the idea I got from my foster people.
Stop. Stop.
They
But
always told you, they
but
say
but
if you really want a girl, you want to know her background, be brave. Even if you are not going to introduce yourself to the people, just go make a way and go understand, know her people, sometimes know how they live. So that boy, he was brave to come there. He was serious. He was
But do you
determined.
think? I mean, you guys think my reaction was more of because see, he's an African American, and I mean, let's admit, especially I know people like Fee, a lot of y'all came out in the system here, but for some of us, I mean, back when I was in Liberia, a lot of things they say, but these people they are lazy, they don't want to work, and so I don't know if that, because I've never. I mean, I have African American friend that we work together,
Mhm.
but I don't know if I would have reacted if he was
A
maybe
white person.
white or African. I don't know what my reaction was going to be. Maybe because of that stigma, something I'm thinking. Oh yeah, these people they offer no good, so maybe yeah, Anna, maybe
No,
maybe the first thing that
You,
came to my
you,
because of a lot of a lot of other national like the Nigerian, the
yeah.
Ghanaian, you will find out you vet. I mean, you rarely, and then don't get me wrong, they got some of them. I mean,
That are
some of
nice. Yeah. So
yeah,
I wanted to comment on
if
that
you don't
because
need it,
you just reminded me of me when I was a teenager and what my dad did.
mhm, yeah,
So and I think Fee might know this story too. So there are some Black Americans that are Southern, like they have the same type of cultures like an African,
mhm,
like the respect, the you hear most of them call their girlfriends my lady. Those are the Southern
yep,
Blacks, the ones that their forefathers did the whole slavery situation, where they believe that when they're taking their before they want to marry a girl or before they want to date, they believe in asking for permission from the
yeah,
girl's family. So there are some Black Americans that are not like that. I'll be honest with you, but
okay,
the ones that are from the South, they're more of those type of, and also the good background too. When you have a parent or a child that comes from a
this name
well-behaved
on
home,
phone is
you
19.
know,
yeah.
he knows those values. Maybe he had talked to his dad about it. I don't know how old your daughter was at the time, but how old was your daughter at the time?
She's like 19.
Okay, yeah. So, like I'm saying, he probably has older parents.
Yeah,
Parents that have value, parents that believe in, before you date a woman or before you marry a lady, you have to get her father's permission. Those kinds of things. So it just depends on the culture. Trust me, if it was another child that was raised by a child a child out maybe younger than us, the child will probably not do that. They will do their things on the side, even though you don't without you knowing. Now, when you have a child that's raised by an older Black American person, you would see that their values are a little bit different. Yeah. And it reminded me of one Black American that I used to date when I was in college. My dad even came home. I don't know who went and told my dad that they saw me with this guy. My dad came home and told me that if he saw me with that guy again, he would disown me, and that I should never come home.
wow.
I think that was the window River says was just treating her gradually.
Yeah, I was thinking, man. But then later on, I found out like I think, like
But
Anna
Reza, I
said,
think you did well though. You
yeah.
you maintain you maintain your calm,
Thanks to
and you
P. Thanks
contacted
to
somebody.
P. I was
You
about
did
to
extremely
American message
well.
snap. Yeah, because then but then like like Anna said, I think he got one of those
Yeah.
southern accents. So I think yeah, very
Yeah,
nice.
and it's
Very,
respectful.
yeah,
The
like,
fact that he came and asked for your permission is a good,
yeah,
good respect, like a
yeah.
good thing. At least he knows that before he came, trust me, he was probably scared that man, this person will probably shoot me. He knew, but because he was trying to be man enough to go, go pee. He
You,
was
you,
man
you
enough
you actually think
and
so,
respectful.
Anna?
Yeah, it's a lot. Yeah, he was scared. Trust me,
No,
he knew that it could go
I don't
both
think
ways.
so.
Every Akata or American, black or white, knows that before you go to a woman's father, just have it. Just be ready to run. Fee, am I lying?
I think
They're
a little bit
scared.
different.
They're scared. Trust me, they're scared. They just don't show it or they don't come off like that. They're scared. Yes, especially unless their daughter is wayward. Your daughter is wayward, and then um your daughter is wayward. They're like, oh, probably she doesn't even have a family that cares that much. That's but if a child is actually a respectful girl, they would know that you can't mess with her like that. Even going to meet her parents, it's a big deal.
Like, it's crazy back here. My kids are going wild.
So
Okay.
so so see, just shortly, I think I think that guy was not thinking that the reaction from River says is going to be as bitter
Yeah.
as River says was going. I think he was like saying, "Lo, you know why? I need to be honest. I need to be honest, and I don't like the girl just for girlfriend. I want to maybe make her my wife, and so I need to be honest. And I'm not going to be here. I want the father to know me.
Yep.
So if that guy had known that probably this guy would have shoot him for his action. I mean, I told you, you wouldn't have even think about going to that house
Yeah.
because he took that stand to go and approach him. His thinking was completely different. He was not thinking an African parent would have gone to the stand that if somebody tell them say I like your daughter, they're going to get mad at you. No, he think that was the best thing to just do. To be honest, that's my thinking.
Guys, the whole daycare crying behind me here now, so I'll be off now.
Yeah, myself, I
Okay.
think it is time.
Okay.
That is also part of his daughter, was also part of the whole plan, letting me know we can't go any further if you don't see my family. So I also want you guys to know that the daughter played a key role. Her sure if relationship or to go further. She had a conversation with.
You're breaking up.
I think we should try to close. Try to close, you guys. Um,
Okay.
right, and then my kids are really.
You're gone bad. Very bad. We are not hearing you.
All right, can you guys give your closing statement so we can close?
So I just want to say thank you so much. Congratulations. Your dream is coming to life, and you just a an awesome person. Continue to work. I want to say thank you to all of the panelists, the co-host, Mr. Dom, and all of the family that has just welcomed us to be part of you. And we are happy to be there. And sometimes you don't see us. This is America. This is Canada. This is the Western world. But it does not mean in any way we don't intend to promote the show. Let's be there. And if we have time, sometimes we have meeting and to suggest what could be maybe the activities to involve into this process to help it grow, that would be very, very good. We can have more meeting, we can have planning, we can have critical thinking, and share ideas and see how we can grow it much better. Thank you so much. I'm not going to say anything about training your children about your sex life. I don't want to close with that.
So much. I appreciate all of that. Definitely, we should have a meeting where we can make the show grow. Anna, what's your closing statement?
Um, I think everybody has said everything, but the closing is that, from what I've learned from everyone, I think it's important to definitely have a conversation with our kids. Because if we don't, someone else will teach them or someone else will tell them about it. So it's better for them to hear that from you. So try to foster that conversation with them so that they're comfortable having such conversations with you and asking you any questions so that they don't make mistakes. um, so I also think it's very important to be transparent about, the sex education, maybe learning ways to um, have the conversation where it's not too explicit for them, but also getting the point across. So I think I want to continue to thank the hosts and the co-hosts and all the panelists on this platform. I've learned a lot from each and every one of you. I feel like this is like a little family outside of my family. It's really nice talking to everybody and sharing and laughing. You know, some of that helps our mental health, believe it or not. So I want to continue to thank everyone. Thanks every viewer. Thanks all those that are sharing the show. Continue to support our sister, so that the show can go viral and eventually people will love to listen and also give inputs on the conversation. So I would really like to the viewers to participate, even though you guys may not be viewing right now. Once you watch, give your input on the comment section of what you think. It's good, and any suggestions on topics that you would like to hear about. Please do so. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you guys. Thank you for all the support. My network is really bad, so I'm not gonna say much. But thank you guys for a great show, and it's a 1 year for all of us, and I'm so grateful to have each and every one of you guys in my corner, and for us to be doing it. I think we're reaching people and we're reaching a lot of places. Thank you, River Says Pro. Thank you, Peterson. Thank you, Anna. Thank you, Jimmy. Thank you, Joelle. Thank you. Um, Dennis, Lawrence. Oh my gosh, if I miss anybody's name. Thank you guys all. Thank you, our fan, our supporter, those who give us stars, those who continuously share the show, and those who are going to. We really appreciate all your love and support, and we're going to continually need your help to make this platform reach a whole lot of people where we can help each other out as we grow in such a hectic and hard society that we're working in and we're living in and going through each day. At least this can be part of it. Thank you, Anna, for that very sweet and supportive ending. I really enjoy the show, each and every section with you guys. I hope you guys have a great week, and we will be here again next week with God permission. Thank you, and have a great weekend. Bye bye.